My wife texted her ex. He paid for my flights, American sugar daddy, about meeting during the $1,800 trip I funded. I smiled. That's interesting. Then canceled her Ireland trip and kicked her out on the spot. Hours later, a coworker revealed. He paid for the flights, LOL, American sugar daddy. That's what my wife of 2 years called me in a Snapchat to her ex-boyfriend while planning to meet up with him in Ireland. On a trip I paid $1,800 for, so she could visit her dying uncle. I'm sitting here in my empty house with our 2 dogs wondering what the hell just happened to my life. I'm Carter, 36, civil engineer in Seattle. Been with my wife Sienna for 9 years total, married for 2. She's originally from Cork, Ireland, moved to the US for college and stayed. We met when she transferred to Seattle for work about 7 years ago. For the first few years, things were pretty balanced financially. We split bills, she had her marketing job, I had mine. But about 4 years ago, she wanted to take a career break. Said she was burned out and needed time to figure out what she really wanted to do with her life. I supported that decision completely. Told her to take all the time she needed. What I didn't expect was for that break to become 2 full years of essentially not working while I covered everything. $200 a month mortgage on the house I bought before we met, utilities, most groceries, you name it. She eventually got a part-time barista job that barely covers her personal expenses. But I thought we were happy. We had this running joke where she'd change my contact name in her phone every month to something funny like Supreme Being or Most Excellent Human. It's been going on for years and always made us both laugh. Last month she got a call that her uncle back in Ireland was diagnosed with terminal cancer. She was devastated. He helped raise her and they were really close. She wanted to fly back to see him before he passed. The flights from Seattle to Cork were $1,800. I didn't even hesitate. I'll pay for it, I told her. You need to see him. Yesterday I came home early from work to surprise her with takeout. She was in the shower and left her work phone on the kitchen counter. I went to change my contact name, our tradition, when a Snapchat notification popped up from someone called FinOB with a photo preview. I was confused. Why does she have Snapchat on her work phone? I clicked the notification and my world collapsed. 5 days of message history. Explicit photos going both ways. But worse than the nudes were the messages about meeting up during her Ireland trip. Specific dates, times, his apartment address. Her saying, "Can't wait to see you finally. It's been too long." Him responding, "I'll take a sick day from work. Have the whole day just for us." Then I saw her message. "Carter has no idea. Booked a hotel near your place." Wait, what? Hotel? I thought she was staying with family. His response? He paid for the flights, LOL. Her, American sugar daddy. I'm sitting there holding her phone, reading this while she's singing in the shower like everything is normal. One of her nude photos was taken in our bedroom. I recognized the bedding I bought last year. Taken while I was at work, apparently. When she came out of the bathroom and saw me with the phone, she knew immediately. The color drained from her face. "Carter." "What?" I handed her the phone. "Who is Finn?" She went white. "I can explain. You're planning to sleep with your ex on the trip I paid for?" Then came the tears and the excuses. "It's not what it looks like. We were just talking. I wasn't really going to do anything." When I pressed her about the hotel booking, she admitted she'd already reserved it 3 weeks ago. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment emotional thing. This was calculated. She tried the "I've been feeling neglected" angle. Neglected? I pay for literally everything in her life and have for years. I gave her 2 full years to find herself while covering all our expenses. I told her to pack a bag and get out. She's been staying with her friend Elena while I try to figure out what the hell to do next. The practical side of me is spiraling. The house is in my name only, bought it before we met, but we're married in Washington State. The dogs are legally mine, adopted them before our relationship. But 9 years is a long time to just throw away. The emotional side of me keeps thinking about that sugar daddy comment. Is that really how she sees me? As some convenient ATM who funds her lifestyle while she plans to cheat with her ex? I canceled her flights this morning. Cost me $200 in fees, but I'm not paying for her affair trip. Reddit, I need perspective. Am I overreacting? Can a marriage come back from this? Should I try to work through it or just cut my losses? Part of me wonders if I was actually being a bad husband somehow. Maybe I was too focused on work and she really did feel neglected. But then I read those messages again and see sugar daddy, and I get furious all over again. What would you do? Update 1. This week has been a nightmare but also eye-opening. I've learned things about my marriage that make me sick. First, the immediate aftermath. I canceled Sienna's flights the same night I found the messages. The $200 cancellation fee was worth every penny. Next day I changed all the locks on my house. It's in my name only, and I wasn't taking any chances. But then I started digging deeper like you all suggested. The hotel she mentioned booking? I found it on our joint credit card statement. Cork, Ireland, 4 nights, $680. She booked it 3 weeks ago, right after I agreed to pay for her flights. This wasn't some impulsive mistake. She had been planning this affair for weeks. Then Elena, her coworker and friend she's staying with, reached out to me. She felt guilty and wanted to tell me things Sienna had been saying at work. Apparently, Sienna has been talking about this Finn guy for months, showing Elena photos, messages, talking about how she was planning to see him. Elena thought it was just fantasy until she saw the hotel booking confirmation. Here's what really got me. Elena said multiple coworkers knew about this. They thought I knew and that we had some kind of open marriage arrangement. Sienna had been telling people at work that Carter's cool with it, we have an understanding. Complete the lie. I confronted Sienna about the Boston trip she took last month for a work conference. She extended it over the weekend to see old friends, and I paid for her flights and hotel. When I asked her directly if that's when she first hooked up with Finn, she admitted it after 30 minutes of lying. So she's been physically cheating for at least a month, possibly longer. All funded by me. The worst part? I found out the real story behind her career break. Elena told me that at work, Sienna bragged about not needing to work because she had a provider husband. Called me a walking ATM to her coworkers. Said she didn't see the point in going back to a serious career when I paid for everything. That's when I realized the woman I thought I was supporting through a difficult transition was actually just using me. She never intended to go back to work. Why would she when she had me paying all the bills? I met with a divorce attorney yesterday. Jordan comes highly recommended. The news isn't great. Washington is a community property state, which means anything acquired during marriage gets split 50-50, regardless of who earned it or who cheated. Since I've been building equity in the house during our marriage, she's entitled to a portion of that, maybe $60.90K, plus half our joint savings. So let me get this straight. She contributes essentially nothing for 4 years, cheats on me with trips I pay for, and still walks away with $75K plus of my money. Jordan says infidelity isn't a factor in Washington divorce law. Welcome to the American justice system, I guess. The dogs are legally mine since I adopted them years before we met, so at least there's that. Sienna has been texting constantly, begging for another chance. Says she'll cut off all contact with Finn, go to therapy, get a real job, and pay me back everything. With what money? She's been living off me for years. I'm staying at my friend Mitch's place most nights. Can't stand being in the house where she took nude photos for another man. Mitch went through a brutal divorce 3 years ago and he's been incredible support. Forces me to hit the gym instead of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. My sister Vanessa is watching the dogs while I apartment hunt. She's furious. Said she never trusted Sienna, that she always had her hand out. I wish I'd listened to her years ago. I'm getting a full STI panel done tomorrow. The violation of having to do that because of her choices makes me furious all over again. The betrayal is one thing, but realizing I was being systematically exploited for years, that's what really hurts. I thought I was being a good husband by supporting her dreams. Turns out she was just taking advantage of my generosity. Update 2. It's been 5 weeks since I discovered my wife's affair plans, and I wanted to update you all because this community really helped me through the darkest time of my life. I officially filed for divorce 3 weeks ago. Jordan fast-tracked the paperwork and Sienna was served at Elena's apartment. According to Elena, she had a complete meltdown. The settlement negotiations have been brutal. My house that I bought 7 years ago has about $280K in equity built up during our marriage. Jordan's strategy is to offer her $70K, about 25% of the marital equity, in exchange for her forfeiting claims to my 401K, pension, and savings. She'd also take on her own credit card debt of about $8K. Her lawyer is demanding $140K, 50% of the equity, plus half our savings, plus she wants one of my dogs, and she wants me to pay her credit card debt. So the woman who cheated on me wants $165K total from the guy she called her sugar daddy. I told Jordan absolutely fucking not. We'll go to court if we have to. He warned me that could cost $30K in legal fees and take 18 months, and a judge might give her 35–40% anyway. Washington doesn't care about cheating when dividing assets. After a week of back and forth, we reached a settlement. I pay her $85K plus half our savings, $7.5K, for a total of $92.5K. She keeps her debt, I keep the house, dogs, and all my retirement accounts. She also signed an NDA agreeing not to disparage me publicly or professionally. Writing that check for $92,500 was the most painful thing I've ever done. But Jordan was right. It's cheaper than what court might have awarded her plus legal fees. Here's something that actually meant a lot to me. Sienna's father, Patrick, called me from Ireland. He was embarrassed and ashamed of his daughter's behavior. He'd found out the full story from Sienna's sister and wanted to apologize. He offered to testify if I needed him to about the history between Sienna and Finn. We raised her better than this, he told me. We actually had a good conversation. He's a decent man, and it made me sad that I was losing good in-laws too in this mess. Sienna's spiral has been swift and brutal, according to Elena, who still talks to me occasionally. She's not working, drinking heavily, and burning through her settlement money already. Finn actually visited Seattle 2 weeks ago, and they fought the entire time. Apparently, the reality of their exciting affair versus an actual relationship hit pretty hard. Turns out he's controlling and jealous, very different from the romantic messages she was getting. I moved back into my house after she removed her stuff. Deep cleaned everything, bought new sheets, repainted the bedroom. It feels like reclaiming my space. The dogs are thrilled to have me back full-time. Murphy, my older dog, was actually depressed staying with my sister. Work has been a refuge. My manager noticed my focus despite everything going on and offered me a promotion to senior engineer. $15K raise plus better benefits. Perfect timing since I need to rebuild after that settlement payment. I started therapy on Mitch's insistence. First session, I told the therapist, I feel stupid for not seeing the signs. She said, generous people often attract takers. You weren't stupid, you were exploited. That really resonated with me. The physical transformation has been incredible. Hitting the gym with Mitch 5 times a week, channeling all my anger into workouts. I've lost 15 pounds and put on muscle. I feel stronger physically and mentally. There's a new structural engineer on my team, Harper Wells. She's 34, competent, funny, outdoorsy. We work together well and there's definitely chemistry, but I'm nowhere near ready for anything romantic. She's different though, pays for her own lunch, doesn't expect anything from anyone. When our team went on a group hike last weekend, she mentioned her mortgage payment and her 401k rebalancing. The contrast to Sienna couldn't be more stark. Here's a woman who's financially independent and doesn't need anyone to fund her life. I'm not pursuing anything with Harper or anyone else right now, but knowing that women like her exist gives me hope for the future, even though the present is still raw. Final update. It's been 14 months since I found those Snapchat messages that destroyed my marriage. And I wanted to give you all a final update since this community saved my life during the darkest period I've ever experienced. The divorce was finalized 6 months ago. Sienna took her $92.5K settlement and disappeared from my life completely. According to the Friend of a Friend intelligence network, mostly through my sister Vanessa, she moved to Ireland to start fresh with Finn. They got married 4 months after our divorce was final. That marriage lasted exactly 6 months before they separated. From what I've heard, reality set in pretty quickly. Finn is apparently jealous, controlling, and has employment issues. Sienna couldn't work in Ireland due to visa complications and burned through her settlement money in less than a year with no income and expensive tastes. She's now stuck married to a guy she barely knows, broke, in a foreign country where she can't easily support herself. Elena reached out a few months ago. Sienna had contacted old Seattle friends asking for money. Nobody's helping. They all know she cheated on me and destroyed a good relationship for a fantasy. Elena was particularly harsh. You made your bed. Now lie in it. Even her own family is embarrassed. Patrick, her father, sent me a Christmas card apologizing again for his daughter's choices. The whole situation has been a source of shame for their family. Meanwhile, my life has completely turned around. The promotion to senior engineer led to me heading up a major bridge design project. I'm making $140K a year now and love what I do. The house feels like home again. I remodeled the bedroom, added a home gym, and it's truly my sanctuary. But the biggest change is Harper. What started as group hikes with coworkers gradually became just the two of us spending time together. 6 months post-divorce, she asked me to dinner and I was honest. I'm recently divorced and might be terrible company. She appreciated the honesty and said, let's just see where things go. We dated casually for months with no pressure. She insisted on splitting bills and paying her own way. I'm not looking for a provider, she told me early on. I want a partner. After being used as an ATM for years, hearing that was music to my ears. Harper owns her own condo outright, has a career she's passionate about, maxes out her 401k, and has a fully funded emergency account. She doesn't need me financially, which makes her choosing to be with me that much more meaningful. Last month, I proposed to her on a backpacking trip in the North Cascades. At an alpine lake, I told her, "You're my partner, not my dependent. Want to build a life together as actual equals?" She cried happy tears and said yes. The contrast to my previous marriage is stunning. Harper is moving in next month but insists on splitting the mortgage payment. "Just because you own the house first doesn't mean I get a free ride," she said. We're planning a small wedding, 50 people, $15K total budget that we're splitting. Her parents are covering catering, my mom is handling flowers. Everything feels balanced and collaborative. The dogs absolutely love her. She hikes with them when I'm traveling for work, pays for their vet bills when she takes them, and treats them like family while never claiming ownership since they're technically mine. My best friend Mitch is obviously going to be my best man. "You dodged a missile with Sienna," he told me. "Harper is endgame." Coming from a guy who went through his own divorce hell, that means everything. I actually ran into Sienna a few months ago at a Seattle bar. She was visiting briefly and looked rough, tired, weight gain, just an unhappy aura. She saw me with Harper in our engagement ring, made eye contact across the room, then quickly left. Harper asked if that was her, and I said yes. "You dodged a nuclear bomb," Harper said. She wasn't wrong. Elena told me recently that Sienna tried to contact me via LinkedIn, which I never saw since I had her blocked everywhere. She apparently told Elena, "I made the biggest mistake of my life." Elena's response was, "Yes, you did. Leave Carter alone. He's moved on and you should too." The financial recovery took time, but I'm in better shape than ever. That $92.5K settlement hurt initially, but my promotion, Harper's contributions when she moves in, and careful saving have more than made up for it. For the first time in years, I'm in a true partnership where both people contribute equally. Looking back, finding those Snapchat messages was the best thing that ever happened to me. If I hadn't discovered her affair plans, I might have spent years more supporting someone who saw me as an ATM while she lived a double life. Instead, I learned an expensive but valuable lesson about boundaries and found a woman who values partnership over provision. To anyone supporting a partner's journey of self-discovery, make sure they're actually finding themselves and not just finding your wallet. The right person will enhance your life, not depend on you to fund theirs entirely. My therapist's final words to me were, "You came in devastated and exploited. You leave knowing your worth with a healthy partner who sees you as essential, not convenient." Harper and I are building something real together. She's everything Sienna pretended to be: independent, kind, genuinely contributing to our relationship. Sometimes the worst betrayal leads to the best outcome if you do the work to heal and grow. Life is good. Really, really good. Edit. Thank you to everyone who supported my decisions 14 months ago. Walking away from that marriage and paying that settlement was the best money I ever spent. Edit 2. For anyone wondering, Sienna's marriage to Finn is apparently ending in divorce proceedings in Ireland. She wants to move back to the US, but it's complicated with the failed Irish marriage. Meanwhile, Harper and I are planning our future together as true equals. Sometimes karma is just watching someone realize they traded security for fantasy and lost both. Edit 3. The dogs approve of Harper completely. Murphy, my older dog, follows her everywhere, and Scout has learned new tricks from her patient training. They sleep in our bed now, which Sienna hated but Harper loves. It's the little things that show you the difference between someone who fits your life and someone who fights it. P.S. Harper is actually excited about splitting household expenses and contributing to our shared life. She makes good money as a structural engineer and takes pride in being an equal partner. After years of supporting someone who took it for granted, having a woman who insists on pulling her weight feels like winning the lottery. We're building something sustainable together, not me carrying someone else's dreams while mine get ignored.